Men and women all over the globe are joining now for the best videos on the internet.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
And I'm doing my part too.
They're doing their part. Are you? Click the subscribe button now to become a member of the Action Pack. Would you like to know more?
Hello everyone and welcome. So far this year, 2023, there have been 2 games released that are centered around magic and fantasy worlds. The first of which was Forspoken, a game that came out and was not only controversial but was also poorly received by both players, fans, and critics. I released my own review of the game. You can go check it out. I'll put a link in the description below. I basically said that it was painfully average. But then there was the second one that came out, and that game is the subject of today's video. I'm Mike, and this is Mike's After Action Reviews, and this is the After Action Review for Hogwarts Legacy. Starting off with the game's production. Hogwarts Legacy was developed by Avalanche Software, most well known for Disney Infinity 3.0 from 2015 and having most recently done Cars 3 Driven to Win in 2017. And also Portkey Games, most well known for Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery from 2018 and most recently having done Harry Potter Wizards Unite in 2019. The game was published by Warner Bros. Games, most well known for Mortal Kombat 11 from 2019 and having most recently done Multiverses in 2022. The music was by Chuck E. Myers, most well known for Toy Story 3, the video game from 2010, and having most recently done Cars 3 Driven to Win in 2017. And Peter Murray, whose career started in 2016, who's most recently done Quest for Love from 2022. Moving on to the game's story. You play as a new student at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry in the late 1800s. But interestingly, you are joining the prestigious school as a 5th-year student. You will learn much about the amazing world of Hogwarts. There are many secrets within the castle and in the world beyond. There is also a darker side to things. Evil wizards in the countryside, forbidden magic at Hogwarts, and a goblin rebellion. The question is not whether there will be challenges, but rather, will you rise to them? Throughout your time at Hogwarts, you have many other witches and wizards to interact with, some good and some questionable. Character dialogue is written well, and you have choices when talking to NPCs. The different dialogue choices are often a good guy response, a bad guy response, or neutral. And while these choices are appreciated, they primarily serve as a role-playing opportunity for the player rather than the character, as most of them have no true impact on the game. Having said that, there are multiple endings to the game, but the ending you get is only influenced by a choice you make before the final boss fight. This choice by the developers did not bother me as much because most of the dialogue choices come down to whether you are a jerk or a nice guy rather than good or explicitly evil. And being a jerk does not necessarily mean that you are evil and deserving of the bad ending, so being able to make that choice at the end for yourself, I actually liked that. I thought that was okay. This, by the way, is not even mentioning the side quests and activities. There are lots of them. The side quests in the game very rarely feel like a grind because they are interesting, fun, not too long, and benefit from the game's great dialogue and writing. You have broom racing, Merlin trials, which are basically simple puzzles, and climbing the ranks of a dueling club are just a few of the side quests that the game offers. So, moving on to the game's core gameplay mechanic. Combat. I would describe the combat in Hogwarts Legacy as the love child of the Arkham games and Marvel Spider-Man, if that child were given a wand. There are 26 spells available in the game, 16 of which are used in combat. Spells are divided into 6 categories, each with a corresponding color. There are red damage spells, yellow control spells, purple force spells, gray utility spells, light green transfiguration spells, and lastly, the dark green unforgivable curses. The game uses a unique loadout system for your spells. You get 4 loadouts, each corresponding to X, square, circle, and triangle, the action buttons, on the PS5. You can slot 4 spells into each loadout. Each of the spells also corresponds to one of the action buttons on the PS5. This creates an interesting and fun experience as players can create different spell combinations within each loadout and then switch between them at will during combat. It also turns up the heat just a little bit, as you may need to switch between loadouts quickly in order to find the desired spells. Where the game has a similarity to Arkham and Spider-Man is in the defensive abilities. You can use Protego to block most enemy attacks. This is similar to Arkham in that an indicator appears over your head telling you to block, and holding the block button counterattacks with Stupefy, which stuns enemies for a short time. Much like Spider-Man's ability to zip around enemies, you can obtain the ability to hold the dodge roll button and transform yourself into a ball of light as you are flung a great distance forward, much like how we see characters turning into light and flying around in the Harry Potter movies. Creatures in the world of Hogwarts Legacy have weaknesses to certain spells that can be exploited, and enemy magic users can use shields. Spiders are weak to fire. You can make trolls hit themselves with Flipendo, and Dugbogs can be suspended in air with Levioso. Enemy shields add a fun challenge to combat. Some enemies can generate either a red, purple, or yellow shield that you can disable by hitting it with a spell of the same color. In larger battles, this is a nice way for the game to break up the rhythm of attacking, dodging, and blocking, much like in the Arkham games, enemies used different weapons that you had to dodge and block in different ways. The last thing to mention about combat is the consumables. There is a nice variety of potions that players can use in combat against the evil wizards and dark creatures of Hogwarts Legacy. Wiggenweld potions heal you. Aduris potions increase your defense for a short time. Focus potions decrease your spell cooldowns. The Thunderbrew potion summons a storm around you that damages and stuns enemies. Using an invisibility potion, of course, turns you invisible, and using Maxima potion increases the damage of your spells for a limited time. There is another potion, Felix Felicis, is only available to those who have pre-ordered the game. Using it highlights large loot chests on the minimap. Other than potions, you will also have access to plants. Yes, that's right, plants. Just like in the movies, the shriek of mandrakes can be used to stun surrounding enemies. Chinese chomping cabbages jump around the battlefield attacking your enemies. And venomous tentacula shoot acid at your foes. They can be upgraded, the venomous tentacula, to break enemies' shields as well. So then, moving on to the game's special features. Hogwarts Legacy has a lot of bells and whistles. Starting off, let's talk about the Room of Requirement, because you will be spending a lot of time here as it serves as a type of hub for the player. In the Room of Requirement, you can use Transfiguration to customize everything cosmetically and create planting tables to grow magical plants. You also get vivariums in which you will care for the fantastic beasts that you capture throughout the world. You will care for, feed, play with, and even breed the creatures within your vivariums. As you care for them, they will provide you with materials that, along with your plants, can be used in crafting. You can craft your own potions and upgrade the gear that you will find as you adventure in and around Hogwarts. Speaking of gear, there is plenty of it. There are 6 gear slots for your hands, face, head, neck, your cloaks and robes, and the last slot is for outfits, which serve as your pants and shirt. Each piece of gear that you equip has a primary stat that it greatly increases, and a secondary stat that, as the gear is upgraded, it increases slightly. Your gear can be transmogrified to change its appearance to any piece of gear that you have picked up before, or one of the many special transmogs that are given as rewards for completing in-game challenges. Each piece of gear can also be slotted with an interchangeable trait. Traits offer special bonuses to your gear, such as defense against specific types of attacks, or greater damage to certain enemies. These are obtained from various challenges throughout the game or found in chests. One of the greatest features in this game is the world itself. It is very well made, it looks great, and is quite fun to explore. Along with the magical world itself are the awesome ways in which you can explore it. The game does have fast travel via the Flu Flame network, but the coolest way to get around is flying. What would the wizarding world be without flying brooms? You can obtain new broomsticks by purchasing them at Splint Witch's Sporting Needs store, or as rewards for more of those mentioned in-game challenges. Getting a new broomstick is purely cosmetic, but there is a quest line that can be completed that allows you to upgrade the speed of your broom. Along with the broom, there are also magical beasts that can be used as mounts. I'll leave those for you to discover for yourself, though, because I don't want to spoil anything. So, moving on to the game's final statement and review score. Look, guys, and this isn't scripted either, alright? This is one of these that I'm not scripting because there's just so much to say, and I kind of wanted to be a little off the cuff here with this one, just because. This game, like I said, does have a lot of bells and whistles. Basically, if you're a Harry Potter fan and you liked the old games that released for the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and I believe the PlayStation 3, yeah. This is probably everything you've ever dreamed of as being a perfect, or at least near perfect, Harry Potter game. Now, how effective all that stuff is, I'm going to get into right now, but I'm just saying it's all here. You have, the only thing actually that's missing is Quidditch, which kind of sucks, but you have your broomsticks, you have your potion crafting, you have classes that you go to. It's not like Bully, where it's like every day you got to go to class or anything like that. They just serve as missions. Some of the classes to learn spells and stuff are side missions, some of them are part of the main quest. If you enjoyed the old games on the PS2 and PC and stuff, they had that little mini game when you would learn a quest where you would outline a shape. I remember it. Expelliarmus was like this weird, yeah, like that. That's why I just outlined it like that shape. And you do that here, it's different shapes and stuff. So that was pretty cool, a pretty nice callback to the days of old when we were getting these games like this. They did a really good job of creating their own world rather than relying on any of the characters or events from the movies. So that's really cool. This is completely its own story. None of the characters or anything like that are here, except for, things like they mention Merlin, and there's lore and things that are used here and expanded upon, so that's pretty cool. The dialogue really is awesome. The thing is, a lot of movies and video games today, just the dialogue and the writing is just not so good. But here it actually was quite solid. There's a massive, expansive world that you can explore. The mounts you can get are pretty cool. Breeding is awesome. A nice little mini game for all those people who really like to grind out and upgrade everything and get everything. That'll be a cool challenge for everybody to do. They even have unique creatures for you to get, like unique color schemed creatures, so that's cool. And then the combat is just so solid. I actually found later on in the game, as I was going through the campaign, there's one of those missions where it's just waves and waves and waves of enemies. And while, obviously at times if you die it can be annoying, and that can feel bad, it really was just fun. Even dying, and having to play through the mission multiple times to beat it because it did get a little bit difficult. It was so much fun to just kill waves and waves and waves of enemies, and if you get really good at the game, it can be really cool. Just like if I said, if you remember from Arkham or Spider-Man where you're dodging everybody, blocking, and then counterattacking, it becomes a lot of fun. And they have challenges that are much like that as well, where you can basically just take on waves and waves of enemies. So if you're here for the gameplay and the combat, if you're in this for the gameplay and the combat, there's definitely something for you. And if you want a good story, there's also something for those people as well. If you want to grind a lot, you can do that. If you don't like the grind, you don't have to. Progressing through the story never makes you stop and level up or stop and get different things. I would say though, I played it on normal, and I'm pretty good at combat games. Like third-person combat games, like God of War, Arkham, Marvel Spider-Man, those types of games. I actually would say that I'm not the best, but I'm pretty good at. I did have to take the difficulty level up to hard. So I would say, which actually to tell you the truth, being someone who plays video games now and I'm trying to do it as a living, I would say that makes sense. And then probably the average everyday player who doesn't do that might be able to keep it on normal. So actually the difficulty settings are I would say are really good. The enemies, like when you get to bosses, get to be quite challenging, but at the same time you're pretty much a very skilled, very powerful wizard. So when you're facing off against small to medium-sized groups of enemies, you're going to find that while it is fun and there is enough of a challenge to it, it's not like heartbreaking and really hard and you got to grind your teeth away to be able to beat enemies. When you get into larger groups though and you're getting attacked from multiple angles all the time, that does become quite exhilarating and quite a challenge. So, having said all of that, what do I think? I'm gonna tell you guys. I'm just gonna tell you guys. I give this game a rating of 2 thumbs way up. Excellent. Really, like I said, so not only does it have everything that you may expect and want from a Harry Potter game, it just delivers on the functionality of all of those elements. It's really cool. Big improvement. So I know that they've already started working on a sequel. So like the big improvements would be including Quidditch. I actually played the Quidditch game, like where it was just Quidditch, and I always had a lot of fun with that. I definitely get where they're saying to themselves like, let's not include Quidditch because maybe as I was playing and doing like the broomstick races and stuff like that here, the timed challenges, I was thinking to myself, how would you play Quidditch? And like, how would this playing Quidditch work? And I can definitely see where there's going to be a little bit of a challenge getting Quidditch into this game with the control systems and the control scheme and stuff. But they did do it before, so they can do it again. Different developers and stuff, but they can obviously do it again. So I'm going to be really excited to see what they come up with for the sequel and what journey that we go on. As a 5th-year student, it looks like they're setting us up for 3 games, because we have 5th year, 6th year, and 7th year. I think, 7 years. 5th year, 6th year, 7th year, and then you graduate from Hogwarts. So we're going to get at least 3 games is my prediction. So go check it out though, guys. If you haven't already, this is a really good game. Definitely worth the price for admission. And if you're a Harry Potter, even if you're not a Harry Potter fan, but if you are a Harry Potter fan, what are you doing? Like, subscribe, and all of that, and share the video. But then go get the game and play it, my lord. I really appreciate all your guys' support, but that's all I've got for you today, guys. So I just want to say God bless you all, and have a good day.